Hey guys, Sean Bougie, surplusfundsriches.net. Uh, Check us out. We partner up with you on both flips and overage recovery. I'm in the office Monday morning here, and there are three stories I want to cover. I've gotten a lot of feedback that from past webinars, one of the things people really missed was story time, where I talked about something that had happened that taught us a new method to use or a new mindset to use. And there are three things I'm going to talk about today. First of all, the takeaway. A lot of you guys have heard me talk about the takeaway close. Zig Ziglar has said over and over again, the desire, or rather, the fear of loss outweighs the desire for gain. And as a result, the takeaway close is the most powerful close on the planet. Anybody that's ever bought a car, you have been on the other side of the takeaway close. So let's talk about that. So I learned that briefly. I learned that, and this is something you can apply to both overages and flipping property. I learned the takeaway close as a realtor. I was young. I was 27 years old at the time. I was going after high-end real estate, trying to list high-end real estate in a market where it was primarily older agents that had a lot more experience. I had the best marketing out there, but I had braces, and I was in high-end real estate talking to people with zero experience. And one of the mortgage lenders for the other agents in the office came to me and said, "Hey, I want to take you to lunch." So we did. And he was the number one mortgage agent, mortgage loan originator, I guess you'd say, in Charlotte, North Carolina. And he said, "What's going on with you?" And I told him, I said, "Look, I'm getting in front of a ton of people because I'm marketing the snot out of myself. I'm going after expired listings. I'm talking to these guys a lot. But what I'm running into is they're arguing with me about the value of the property because some agents fill in their head full of, it's worth more money. The numbers are the numbers. Or they're arguing about what needs to be fixed in order for it to be, because I know what the property is like in the upper end. I know where it has to be. This was a point in time, guys, where the property had to be nice to sell it. You couldn't just put it on the market and go, I don't care, I'm leaving the pets in there, Um, so they would argue with me with that, and I said, "I think it's that. I think a little bit is my experience." He goes, "Well, you've got marketing." I showed it to him. He said, "You got the best marketing, um, Sean." And I said, "Man, I'm even like trying not to show my teeth when I'm speaking to these guys, and I'm overcompensating, wear a suit and tie because I'm just, I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make this thing work." And he said, "You got the wrong attitude," and that's when he taught me the Zig Ziglar fear of loss outweighs the desire for gain. He said, "Look, you got to take yourself away from it. They won't stop arguing with you. They try to hit you on commission, whatever it is. You just say, listen." And he said, "You got to do this professionally, and you got to do it with a smile on your face. You say, listen, I very much appreciate and understand your point of view here. I completely disagree. I really know what I'm doing. Um, I can't take your listing unless we list it at this point and we make the following repairs. I understand you don't want to do that. We're not going to come to terms. I appreciate your time. Have a nice day." That's it. And walk out. He goes, "Sean, trust me, you'll never make it to the door." Well, I decided to do it, right? So 3 months later, I'm the number one listing agent, full of, good Lord, in a real estate company that was full of high-end, experienced, older real estate agents. I was the number one listing agent. It didn't take me long to become a REMAX agent, have a huge team, and I actually taught them the takeaway close as well. So that's the first story is, guys, use the takeaway. When you're talking to an overage person, you can say, "Look, here's what I give you. Here's how I'm different than anybody else." When I'm doing it, I'm saying, "Hey, I'm giving you 10% of the gross amount being held by the court. Within 2 weeks after you sign it, I'm on the hook for the attorney fees, the mobile notary, the research, all that. Even if I'm not successful, these other guys are promising you more money, but they're not hiring attorneys. They're not giving you money up front because they aren't confident enough to do or successful enough to do that. If you change your mind, give me a call." And they always would call, at least one way or the other. The other one was the deed flips, where we'll come close. I'll get somebody on the line where we're really coming close, and they'll have a change of mind. They'll talk to a family member or something else, or they'll think that they're going to come up with the money. And a big part of that is being extremely honest and just say, "Hey, look, here's the deal. Even if you don't sell it to me, sell it to somebody else. You're 3 weeks out from foreclosure. They are not going to change their mind on the foreclosure. The money fairy is not going to bring you money at the last minute. You're not going to hit the scratch off. None of that is going to happen. So if you don't sell it to me, sell it to somebody else. I need a week to make this happen. If you decide you want to take my offer, give me at least a week's notice so we can put this together. Have a nice day. Now they usually call back. Most of the time they're going to call back a little too late, a couple days before, because they don't take me seriously, even though I've sent a follow-up mailing. But we still put a lot of deals together, the majority of them because I was willing to walk away. So the takeaway close really works. And here's something you understand with that. If you're not willing to walk away, you are an order taker. You are not a negotiator. Order takers make this much. Negotiators make that much. You need to be able to walk away if you really want to make profit in anything that you do that involves sales. Okay? So the next one I want to talk about is the catch-up. We used to call this the catch-em up deal. And I'm looking at my notes right now because there was a lot to this. So went in with a guy, he had a $180,000 mortgage. He owed $12,000 in taxes. This is back in the day when not all mortgages would keep the money aside for taxes. They wouldn't make it escrowed into your payment. So he owed $12,000 in taxes. They were about to foreclose over taxes, $180,000 in mortgage, $20,000 is what it was going to take to about fix this thing up. It was worth $320,000, and he had monthly payments of $1,500 a month. So this guy needed a month or two to stay there, and he needed the taxes paid off now. He was about to retire from the police force, and there were things going. He was a narcotics detective. He actually had bulletproof windows, guys. I'm not kidding you. In this house, I had to market that as like unbreakable windows because he was an ex-narcotic agent. He was afraid somebody was going to, after he put him in jail, do a drive-by and take him out. So anyway, just a wild deal. What we did, Troy went in and said, look, I'll put $30,000 in your pocket when we sell it. I'll pay off your taxes right now. You can live here the next 2 months as long as I can do the repairs. That's going to run me $20,000. I got to pay off $12,000 in taxes. You owe $180,000 in mortgage. I will pay your mortgage while it's on the market, which was, guys, about $1,500 a month. And then I'll give you $30,000 when we sell it. And he said, sure. He was afraid. The thing with him was nobody was able at this point. This was early 2000s, real early 2000s, and nobody was offering him cash. So he knew that wasn't an option. He didn't really have time before the tax sale hit to put it on the market and sell it to somebody that was an end buyer, and he just wasn't getting the interest he wanted. So he agreed. And the reason I bring this up is if you think about it, so Troy, my partner at the time, came up with $12,000 in taxes and $20,000 to fix it up. Some of you guys are looking at this going, I know he made $75,000 profit because it sold for $320,000, and the total debt there was about $245,000 between fixing up what he was going to pay the owner, the debt of $180,000, the $12,000 in taxes. And I was like, well, you've made a little bit better margins, than this when I look at all the debt. And he was like, Sean, you're looking at this wrong. What do I have in it? And it was 2 mortgage payments of $1,500. That's $3,000. $12,000 in taxes. That takes us to $15,000. Didn't have to pay the owner till he sold it. And so $12,000 and $3,000 is $15,000 plus $20,000 to fix it up. $35,000, and he netted $75,000. Actually, a little less than that. Let's call it $65,000 with realtor fees and all that stuff. But that's a lot of money, guys, for $35,000 in. Most flippers don't put that little in and get that much return. So always look at what they want. This guy did not need all the debt didn't have to be paid off. A lot of you guys get caught up in the, oh my God, I got to pay off all this debt. Is it foreclosing? No. Then you don't have to pay it off right now. Pay it off when you sell it, right? In this case, we actually kept his mortgage payments going because he also wanted his credit to be good. So we did that. But always look at what they need and want. You'd be surprised what they'll ask for on the back end. And it made a huge deal to this guy to have that about 2 months in there as well. So, and actually at week 5, we were done with the repairs and we were having showings while I was in the house, and he didn't have a problem with that. So always look at what they have. And by the way, if Troy had taken a hard money loan to get this done, some of those hard money guys would have wanted him to pay off the debt as well, use their money for that, and he wouldn't have had much left afterwards. So, and there's no way he would have been able to secure this property and have only $1,500 payments a month while he was doing it. So that was a big deal. That was the catch 'em up method. We actually did that quite a bit. The other uh, technique really blew my mind. And we went to a property in the Dilworth section of Charlotte, really sought after area. Okay. High end condo. Well, it was actually a dated condo, but they go for a lot of money. It was worth about 180 grand. Um, it was getting foreclosed on for HOA dues. And he said, Sean, come on, I know you want to start experiencing this. Let's go to the property. So we go to the property, we get there, knock on the door, and it is littered with people's cards. It's littered with notes that are taped on, all kind of letters, all kinds of stuff was out in the front. Cards are all over the place, letters, notes, all of it. And Troy just knocked really loud on it and said, Mildred, I know you're in there. I want to help you. I want to talk to you. And she said, go away. You just want to take my house from me. And he said, no, I don't. I want to help you. I might be able to let you stay. And I looked at him like, what are you, crazy? What do you do? You never promise more than you can deliver, ever, ever, ever. So I didn't know what he was doing. So we get in and we sit down. He says, look, you're about to lose this place over 15 grand in HOA dues. You're also behind on taxes. They're not going to foreclose anytime soon, but you're behind on taxes another 5 grand. You know, if you don't, you're 3 weeks out. If you don't pay this 12 grand, you're out. And she said, why are you telling me that? You said you could help me. I want to live in the property that Troy said, all right, if you don't sell it to me, you got to sell it to somebody else. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He said, I need to know why you want to stay here. And she said, I have stage 4 cancer. I probably have 3 months to maybe as high as 2 years to live. I just want to live in this house and be good here. That's it. And he said, I understand that. I think I could do that. He said, I can let you live in the property. Um, I don't have an issue with that at all. What I would do is give you a life estate where you are guaranteed you own the property. I'd never heard of a life estate before, guys. You're guaranteed you own the property. When you die, it gets transfers to me. It's automatic. You're called the life tenant on that deed, and I'm called the remainder man, which means it comes to me. And he goes, it'd be me or a company that I choose, whatever. But I'll give you a life estate. I'll pay off your past due dues, your HOA dues, and you can live here for as long as it takes. And if you want, I'll give you another 20 grand on top of that. And he said, by the way, it's worth 180. I'm going to make a ton of money doing this, but nobody else is going to take this risk. And she said, well, could you do 30? And he said, I could. Are you comfortable with that? Everything's good. And she said, yeah, okay. He said, now, do you have any local family? And she said she had a son. So he said, I want to talk to him. And she did briefly, made sure that he was okay with it too. And then he said, I'll meet you tomorrow. We couldn't get a hold of a mobile notary. Meet you tomorrow at wherever you want. Here, we can I'll go buy you lunch, whatever you want. She agreed to lunch. And we met, and he went through the whole thing with her, signed her up, and got it done. And I said, Troy, why'd you do that, man? You got 15 grand in HOA. There's 5 grand in taxes. You don't know when they're going to foreclose on that. Yeah, North Carolina takes forever, but that's 20 grand. You got into it. You got to hold for 2 years. You could have taken that 20, probably flipped the property every 3 months that would have been 8 times. You could have made way more money than you're going to make on this, even though it's worth 180 grand. And he said, Sean, he said, I don't do assignments because that's crap. People look right through that. And that on top of assignments, I don't do subject to all that BS. I said, yeah. He goes, I've already got a guy lined up to buy it. I'm not going to come out of pocket anything. So he calls his buddy. He said, here's the deal. There's 15 grand plus 5. So there's 20 grand. You probably need to go ahead and get that completely taken care of. Plus she wants some money on top of it. And told him what he's going to have to pay. And you're going to have to hold it for up to 2 years, maybe more. Who knows? Maybe she's going to go into remission. Maybe it could be 5 years. Who knows? And he said, okay, what do you want for it? And he said, I want 40 grand. And his investor said, sure. And gave him $40,000 for the deal. And he had on the life estate and or assigns. And he, sure enough, assigned that, gave him a document, his investor the document for that, so that he was the remainder man. If anything happened, that was also recorded. So always be prepared to look beyond a normal deal and give people what they need to go get where they're going, right? This was going to make this investor over $100,000, probably, and made Troy 40 grand as well. Everybody won. She got more money than she thought she would. She got to stay in the place as long as she wanted. There were no more issues. He did have her sign another agreement because in a life estate, guys, the person that's the life tenant, which would have been her, there's there's a life tenant, and then there's a remainder man, the person who gets the property when the life tenant dies. Um, he had her sign a separate agreement that she was not allowed to go into debt uh, while she was the owner as the life tenant because it's their property during that time period. I learned so much in that deal. So, guys, I hope story time has been entertaining and given you some ideas on how you can structure property differently. We're coming out with a new program where you're going to literally just pay off their taxes that are due, the past due taxes, and let them stay there for a little while and make a crazy amount of money. We still obviously still do flips and overage recovery. Surplusfundsriches.net. Um, Check it out. Go to the products page. There's an overview of all of our programs. The new program that I just talked about is going to launch end of September 2021. I appreciate you taking the time to look at this. Be sure to like the video. Give us a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the story time method of doing this.